As the race heats up for the 2020 elections, Republicans are focused on taking back the House. They've launched a campaign dubbed Win Red, an online donor platform similar to Act Blue.
So far, at least, though, 13 House Republicans and 4 GOP senators have all announced their retirement, setting up a big battle in Congress. Joining us now from Capitol Hill to discuss how Democrats plan to keep the House blue is Congressman Brad Schneider of Illinois. He's a member of House Ways and Means and the Committee on Small Business. Congressman, thanks for coming back.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
How do the prospects look for Dems to hold the House in 2020 in your estimation?
I think they look very good. First, start with the fact that we have an extraordinary class of new members. 63 freshman members have joined us in the House this year, each of them focusing on serving their constituents and already taking leadership positions within the Democratic caucus in the House itself. We have 17 subcommittees that are led by new members of Congress. They are introducing legislation, but most importantly, I think they're focusing on the concerns and needs of their local constituents.
So, Congressman, what do you think that the top line issues are going to be within the campaign? What do you see that is a disconnect between what Washington focuses on and what you hear about from your constituents and that other candidates are going to hear about when they're running for election?
Thank you. What we hear from our constituents, what I hear when I go home, what my colleagues are telling me they're hearing, it's the kitchen table issues. It's the issues that affect everyday lives. It's how do we lower the cost of prescription drugs and make healthcare more accessible, more affordable for everyone in this country. It's how do we give working families a raise? How do we make them how do we raise their standard of living, help them provide education to their children, afford a college education? How do we allow the economies and our communities to grow stronger locally? That's where the focus is. There is attention paid to all the national issues, but day in and day out, it's mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters working to make their communities strong and give their families a good future.
Congressman, do you worry that the focus on an impeachment inquiry may distract from those kitchen table issues?
No, I'm confident in the capabilities of our caucus, of my colleagues. We can do what we have to with respect to the impeachment inquiry, while at the same time focusing on the important legislation that lays ahead of us. We have to fund the government. We have to address and hopefully get to resolution on the United States-Mexico-Canada Accord. We have to work on passing H.R. 3, the lower prescription drug legislation. There are so many things we need to do. We've already passed in the House more than 200 pieces of significant legislation that are waiting action in the Senate. Mitch McConnell has described himself as the Grim Reaper, sending all those bills to the legislative graveyard. I think American people want the Senate to join with the members of the House and to work for our communities, for the American people, to move legislation forward that will lift us up and move us forward.
Congressman, I'm glad you mentioned the USMCA. We heard from the president yesterday saying that if the House does not bring this to a vote, that he's probably going to withdraw himself from NAFTA. Do you expect to see that on the House floor at any time soon? Can you reveal any information to us?
Well, so what is already in the public, members of the House, the Speaker has said that we are looking to get to yes. I know the working committee has been engaged with the U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer. He has been very forthcoming in working with all of us in the House and hearing our concerns. There is an exchange of ideas and trying to get to resolution. We have 4 issues we're concerned about: labor-related, environmental, the biological, pharmaceuticals. But ultimately, it's going to, I think, come down to enforcement. I think as long as people of good intent can sit around the table, work across that table, and try to find a compromise, that we can move forward.
What types of demographics, what types of districts do you see moving towards Democrats in 2020?
Well, I think what we've seen is all types of districts move to Democrats in 2018. We have members from rural states like Oklahoma, and we have new members from suburban communities in Illinois like Lauren Underwood and Sean Casten. I think that's going to continue. What I know in my conversation with my colleagues and my own role as one of the chairs of the Frontline program working with our most vulnerable members is we're connecting with our constituents. We're reaching people in all types of communities, urban, rural, suburban. We're focusing on the priorities of the American people. And as long as the Democrats do that, as long as we are working not just on the coast, but in the center, in the heartland of the country, I'm confident we'll not just continue to hold our majority, we'll expand our majority next year.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Congressman. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was great talking to you. Look forward to doing so again.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good. And we'll have more Rising after this.